So what's up, everybody? So this is going to be installment number 2 on our kind of drills for skills videos. And this one's going to have to do with maintaining, controlling, getting used to the lack of, or however you want to look at it, traction. So either the lack of traction, riding one of these big heavy bikes on road, and then when you get off road, it's quite a bit different, especially considering what kind of tires you're running. So you don't necessarily have to be on a very slick surface to experience a huge loss in traction. So it can be something that takes a little while to get used to, which is why I think it's something you should practice. So I'm running the Shinko 705s, which is like if you're being generous, a 60-40 split, probably more like a 70-30, and my rear has 5,000 miles on it. We're about to change that, but in the meantime, that means it doesn't hook up very good on the center strip. So, therefore, it's very easy to get it squarely off-road. So, we'll catch back up with you on the bike, and we'll kind of show you how you can practice getting used to the loss of traction or the lack of traction without just going out and hitting whatever obstacle you're going to experience that lack of traction in, whether that be mud, sand, or desert hard pack that's soft or loose on top, just dirt roads, whatever it be. If you practice this, and then I feel like you will definitely see an improvement when you hit those surfaces one day. So stay tuned. Alright, so unfortunately one of the places that'd be very difficult to mimic riding in loose terrain in without actually going out and firsthand experiencing it is going to be turns. We'll do our best, but for the most part you're just going to be getting used to what it's like to ride. You're controlling the loss of traction. So to set this up, you just need some kind of slick surface. You could use a gravel road like this one I'm turning on, although I don't highly recommend that because if you end up dumping the bike on gravel, not only are you going to have some pretty serious damage to the bike, but you're also going to have some pretty serious damage to you, most likely. So recommend a grass field is ideal. That's probably easiest. Like a real freshly cut hay field that you've got permission to be in or something like that. And we're pretty much going to be doing straight line drills with a little bit of powering out of the corners. So you can see I don't have very much room here, but for starters I would say first gear only. Get up to maybe 20 and let's just lock the rear brake up and slide. And because I'm on a bit of a slope, the result is I'm going to be sliding rear end to the right. But that's not a huge problem. If you can find a flat spot, that's ideal. But if you've got a little bit of a slope like I got here, again, not a huge problem. So practice that a couple times. Like I said, just get up about 15, 20 miles an hour in first. Lock up the rear. You'll have to excuse the dog. He really loves the motorcycle. And then, again, nothing special about this drill other than, it's going to get you used to that situation where you have to all of a sudden slam on the rear brake off-road. And another thing you can do, as I let the dust settle up there, is not only just slam on the rear, but in a panic situation, it's real easy to just grab everything. And one thing I would recommend doing and practicing is when you lock up that rear, use a little bit of front brake. Be very, very, very soft on it. Do not get overzealous with it, but it definitely doesn't hurt to practice,
so it becomes second nature to reach for it, but it's not second nature to just lock it up. So on this run, we'll practice that, and I'm going to hit the same 20 miles an hour, and I'm going to hit the rear brake at the same spot, and we'll see if I can stop any shorter than I managed to stop that last time. So we stopped 3/4 of a bike length shorter. Alright, and then that drill doesn't really change. You can just add speed to it. You can also add a slight turn at the end, something like that. Maybe you're riding with a group one day and everybody stops short in front of you, and you need to veer a little to one side, left side just then. I'll do it here to the right side to keep from hitting the person in front of you. So same thing, get up some speed, practice sliding, not a lot, just a foot or two off to either side. And also practice these short little stabs as you go around turns. None of this specifically being what you need to know for any given situation, but just bettering your off-road skills on such a large bike. And then for practicing lack of traction while accelerating, just get moving real slow and just lay into the throttle a little bit. In first, just come off the clutch and give her about 30% throttle. And then once you get comfortable spinning it just like that, no clutch at all, and just kind of peg on it, and then as you pick up speed, stab the rear brake. And then once you get real comfortable, maybe practice a little bit of a turn in there. And then again, stab the rear brake. And once you get real comfortable, let the dust settle a little bit. I would say another thing to practice is stabbing it pretty solid coming out of turns. Get the feeling for what it's like to be a little sideways exiting a turn. So I think the easiest way to practice that is just set a heading and then pick a point that you're going to kind of do a 30-degree turn in front of, and when you do it, roll on the throttle. And the first couple times you try it, you don't have to stab it, just roll on it, and then next time pick up the pace, and then eventually you'll be at this point to where you can feel comfortable kind of drifting the bike. Practice doing it sitting down, stabbing the rear. And then the KLR, granted it don't have a lot of power, if you really want to experience what it would be like to be on a slick surface and have to be, kind of heavy with the throttle, just click her up into second. So, gotta be moving a little faster than that, but and again, if you was in a hayfield, you'd really get a good sense, because if I get out in my dad's hayfield, I can spin this thing up through fourth gear in a straight line, especially when the dew falls. So it's just real easy to find ways to practice, lack of traction or low traction situations without actually having to go out and ride in mud or sand or something like that. But this is just honestly a fun thing to do, as long as you're you're not tearing up somebody's property you don't have permission to be on, because you will eat the ground up a little bit. But not only is it a fun thing to just do and kind of fool around with, but at the same time you're learning some amount of skill that's beneficial. It's not something you do every day, riding on the road, and then all of a sudden when you go out with your buddies, you know, it's kind of a skill. Like I said, you don't practice it in your road riding, and when you go out with your buddies, that's not really practice. You're out enjoying the off-road riding. So this is just another way to to practice getting used to a big heavy bike and how it behaves off-road, because I guarantee you it does not behave the same as a dirt bike off-road. And the next video, we're going to learn how to hop some logs, ditches, or other obstacles that might be in the trail. So if that's something you're interested in learning how to do, stick around for the next one. Catch y'all next time.